So, episode number 24. Our special guest, Sammy Wayt. Not only is he a performer, singing, acting, and whatnot, he also plays the guitar. I don't like to brag or anything, but I play a mean air guitar. In fact, here's a great solo that I just wrote. Listen to this. Wasn't that great? I'll be making a band and an album in no time. This episode of The Performers I Know coming at you! These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Performers I Know. This is episode number 24. Oh, yes. This week from Studio, Colorado. I believe you are in the Colorado area, yes?
Yes.
Okay. That voice you heard is my guest this evening. He is a accomplished actor and voice actor, and he is here, and I am oh so ready to interview him. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big old round of applause to Sammy Wayt. Sammy, welcome to the show.
Hello.
He's a man of very few words, but that's okay. So, once upon a time, last year, I was on Kids Casting looking to cast one of my shows that wound up, unfortunately, on the cutting room floor called The Tutor. And amongst the people who auditioned for the role of Lucas, which was the lead, was Sammy. Now, for those of you who want to know, and Sammy, I wanted this to come from me, you were going to be the person that I cast in that role if we wound up doing the project. But that's okay because Sammy wound up doing other projects with me, and it was a lot of fun. But Sammy, my first question to you, as I ask all of my guests, what was it that got you bitten by the theater and acting bug? What got you into doing theater and acting in general?
I would say because as going through elementary school, they make you think about, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? You gotta have this plan, you gotta have this college plan and all that. And like everyone was choosing like, oh, an astronaut, a veterinarian, stuff like that. But I was thinking in my head, what if you could be all of those, but you didn't really have to be all of those? And the first thing that popped in my mind was an actor, and I was like, big idea. So then,
Sir, you just blew my mind. Like,
yeah, and then I kind of just carried on through there, and by kind of just joining some casting networks, getting bigger roles each time, and it's been really fun so far, and I do not regret that decision.
absolutely not. Though I do kind of find it a little bit funny where Um, in elementary school, it's like, well, you gotta know what to do in college. Look, I know you're 10, but like you gotta start planning for college. All right, come on.
Yeah, I know they did that to us all the time, and it was very stressful. And
I
then so we kind of just ignored it.
I mean, yeah, I can understand like if you're a little bit older, like 15 or 16, to start
Yeah.
kind of like preparing for college, but not when you're in middle school. Come on, people. What's
Yeah.
going on here? Oh my goodness. So, um, Sammy, as I said, we did not wind up doing the tutor. However, Sammy did wind up working for me. And one of the things that I can't help but notice is that in a few of the productions that he's done with me, he has wound up doing many accents. Um, he's done Cockney accent as well as doing a tough guy Brooklynese accent. Now, Sammy, would you say that that kind of comes naturally to you, or did you kind of learn how to do accents as your acting career started to take off?
It wasn't very like absolute natural for me, so I kind of just played around with my voice until I got like the accent that I wanted to have. Like, oh yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, you better believe it.
Yep.
Like, there was a short that you did where you were interrogating a peep, a marshmallow peep,
Yep.
and you just did this like yokel kind of like, I want you to tell me right now where them other peeps are, boy. And just that was actually one of the videos that I saw of you where I was like, you know something, this kid could do many, many accents, and I want to put that into consideration for other roles that he does. Um, Now, one of the first major things that you did with me was one of our scene showcases called How to Get the Girl, where you played Zach. And unfortunately, Sammy just got knocked around and beat up by a whole bunch of different girls. He was not having too much luck until he meets the lovely Stephanie, as played by Isabella Schroeder, who actually, just the episode before this one, she was talking about her experience. She said she loved working with you and working on the scene in general. But what was your remembrances of this scene getting knocked down, but getting back up again with all these different gals?
I kind of admired the character, how he never gave up. Because I like, because he got, I can also feel like empathy for him through the script of how he's like, just, he gets rejected every single time, but he doesn't give up. So like, I feel like that was actually a very good script, inspiring.
Oh well, that was my intention exactly, was to inspire you to never give up. So yeah, I pretty much did a rather good job with that one. Yes. Um, you've done a lot of not just virtual stuff, but I will also say that you've done some in-person stuff as well, for the most part.
Oh yeah, that's my main thing.
Yeah. Like once the pandemic started and things kind of shifted a little bit towards virtual, what was your thoughts about that? Was it kind of like a culture shock to you, or did you kind of go with the flow a little bit?
I kind of went with the flow. I kind of enjoyed it because I also found lots of opportunities during the pandemic to try new things. And I got really into music during then, uh, really into tennis, ping pong. But I kind of enjoyed it, except for the part when I did have COVID. But besides that, it wasn't
Well, I
that
mean,
bad.
I don't think anybody really enjoyed having COVID.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have COVID? That's fantastic. Yeah. All right.
Yay.
But you mentioned playing the guitar, playing a musical instrument, and yes, you are quite proficient in picking the strings on the guitar. Now, you said that this came about during the pandemic, or did you learn how to play the guitar before the pandemic?
Uh, Probably a few months after the pandemic, because during the pandemic, I was really just getting more into music, not playing music, but then once I started listening to more of the 80s, 90s music, I started to wanting to play guitar. And then I think it was a couple months after the pandemic, I started to play guitar.
Oh, I mean, that definitely would have come in handy for when we did Rooster's Grand Adventure, where you played Mud, the psychobilly. And one of the things that Sammy did upon playing Mud was he recited the lovely tune "My Name Is Mud" by Primus, which features a banging guitar section from the band. What was it? Was it something that you were used to because you said that you were listening to 80s and 90s kind of rock stuff, or was this like a new frontier for you?
The song "My Name Is Mud."
Well, just the grunge and alternative music in general that was in the show.
Oh, it it was actually kind of new to me because I can still see some of the distortion in it from 80s, 90s time period, but it was definitely something I've never heard before.
Well, I'm glad I was able to introduce all of you kiddies to that kind of music, even though, as I've said before, all of you looked at me like I had three heads when I was like, "Hey, so there's a lot of grunge music in this, like Primus and Jane's Addiction, like Jane's who, what? I don't know." So yes, Sammy is very proficient, not just in doing voices, but also doing silly little wacky little skits on his YouTube channel. You I don't know if you're still, I mean, as we record this, it is the 24th of March. I'm not sure if you're still doing your skits or if you kind of
Uh,
pivoted in a new direction.
I sometimes am. I kind of just took a break for a while because I wanted to focus on other things, but every once in a while I will.
Now, do you kind of sit down and plan out what you want to do in these little skits, or does it kind of like come to you in just like it pops into your head and you're like, oh, quick, I need something to record this on.
Yeah, it kind of just comes out randomly in the most random times, like on a bus or in the car.
Isn't that wonderful when you have like those random thoughts like because a lot of the scripts that I've done these ideas just pop up in the weirdest places, especially like in the middle of the night when I just wake up like I gotta write this down. This is a fantastic idea. And if
Yeah,
I don't write it down, I'll forget it in the morning.
yeah, I hate when you forget like this really brilliant idea that you had, and then you'll just forget it the next morning.
Oh, that's just the worst. That is the absolute worst.
Yeah.
Oh. I think the two favorite ones of mine were the Where Did All the Peeps Go? And I feel like there was one called the No Breathing Challenge where you just like you started holding your breath and then you fell over or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the No Breathing Challenge did not complete,
Yeah.
fortunately.
I
Hmm.
got that idea from some guy that did like No Poop July. That was really trending in August, but
Wait,
it was
no what July?
No Poop July.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay. Listen, whatever floats people's boats, I don't judge. It's kind of crazy what we can come up with when we're on the internet long enough. But
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy. So, actually, I'm looking at the shows that you've done for me, and I just realized something. You had the same character name in two different projects because you did the Baker Street Irregulars where you played Spike. And this was born more out of necessity because the kid who was supposed to play Spike kind of just flaked out on me, and I turned to you in my time of need, and you did a nice little Cockney accent, and you played the little minion very well. And then, actually, just this past month, you were in a sleigh ride together, and that character was also called Spike. It didn't even dawn on me until just now, like, oh, wait a minute. He played Spike, and then he played Spike again. Yeah,
That's cool. I did not realize that.
I totally did not realize that. My mind is blown again, sir. But you got to play a tough little kid who deep down, he has a heart of gold. He really loves his Goyle, Angela, even though the two of them fight like cats and dogs. You and Frankie Guzzo had amazing chemistry together. What was the experience like playing a sort of kind of a jerkish character, but deep down he has a heart of gold?
In my opinion, the
Well,
best part
yes.
was the accent for me because it's not how you would just normally talk on an average Tuesday. Is really fun getting to explore the accent, doing it with the character, and that was really fun.
Well, you might not believe me, but on a normal Tuesday, I do happen to talk like that. It's on Wednesdays where I talk normal. So if you were to catch me on a Tuesday afternoon, I'd just be like, "Hey, how you doing, Sammy? What's going on? How's tricks, buddy boy?"
Nah, nothing much.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. But yes. So you've done quite a few student films and short films in the Denver, Colorado area.
Yep.
Um, there was one that your mother was telling me about called, I believe it was Open Heart, where you got to just ride around on a gurney all day.
Oh yeah.
What was, how did that come about? Like, what was that project all going on?
Like what is about?
Yeah, give us a little
Okay.
synopsis and,
Okay.
give us your remembrances of the filming of
So Open Heart, it's about this 9-year-old boy named Mason, and his parents had him, but Mason was born with a heart condition, and he's been in the hospital a lot, like a lot. So that's why I was like rolling around the movie the whole time. But and Mason's mom meets this girl at the hospital, and she's pregnant, and she finds out that her baby has the same heart disease as Mason, and she's thinking about not having the baby because she doesn't want it to live such a hard life. But then Mason's mom tells her it's it's okay, it's gonna be all right. Like you want your baby boy to live his wonderful life. Like that whole conversation. And then so she had the boy. And then another thing it was about is uh belief because the boy I played wasn't supposed to make it to 10 years old, but the end of the movie actually shows his like full 10th birthday and showing that he did make it to 10 years old even though the doctor said he wouldn't. So yeah.
it. I don't know what it is about film school directors and writers. There's a lot of kooky stuff that comes out of the film school area. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean to badmouth it. A lot of it can be very cool. A lot of it could be very outside the box thinking. But like I'm reading here, you did something called Ascend, and it's from Colorado University student Ariel Anand, and it's just short dystopian film. Oh, okay. That doesn't sound like a family film to me. Like, what was that all? What kind of wacky shenanigans were going on in that film?
The worst part about student films is there's not any bad parts. There's really just one, and it's like scheduling with them is complicated because they're always switching the film set times. They're like, all right, come down here Monday. Actually, no, Tuesday. Actually, no, Monday, Monday again. All right, that's fine. Hey, can you actually come over Sunday? Yeah, and it's that whole process the whole time, which is a little irritating, but it works out eventually.
But what was it like? Because it says dystopian film. Like, what was going on in that? Like, what was Ascend all about, if you remember?
Oh yeah, I sent. So it was about this girl. I was her little brother in the movie. And this basically this whole dystopian city is living off these drugs that makes them and they take it like every morning, it makes them feel like and it makes them see like the perfect world that they're in. But the teenage girl, um, she stops taking hers just for fun because she wants to see what happens. And she realized what a dump that their planet is because the whole planet has been like really polluted and stuff. So like it's just terrible. And the pills are when they take the pills, it just blocks all that with illusions. But since she
Hmm.
stops taking them, she tries to tell everybody, but they think they're crazy. So she runs away, goes to this. Oh no, she doesn't run away. She gets taken away by a government because they don't want her knowing the truth and they don't want her convincing people that it's the truth. So they take her away to this jail. I I wouldn't know what to call it. And then she
Hmm.
breaks out and she steals seeds from gardener. Then she replants them and then she cleans up the earth and yeah, it's all better again.
Oh, okay. So there's a happy ending. You know, I can't help but notice, and I am not that I'm trying to level any accusations against whoever it was that directed this or wrote this, but there's a video game called We Happy Few, and it is almost exactly the same kind of plot where it's like, oh, we have to take our joy pills and everything is happy and everything is all technicolor and lovely and farty. And if you don't take your joy, you see the world for what it really looks like, which is just a massive dystopian radioactive wasteland. So, yeah.
That sounds exactly like the movie.
Yeah,
What
so
what video game was it called?
We Happy Few.
We Happy Few.
Yes. It's on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One if you are so inclined. I don't know if that's in your wheelhouse if you play video games on the regular.
I'll probably just look it up. I'm sure it's somewhere.
I'm sure it's fun. But the really happy news that I have to share with you, fine ladies and gentlemen, is that, as I said, as we record this, it is the 24th of March. Around about a week or so ago, Sammy got some very, very good news. Sammy was signed to be part of Stars Talent Studio, based out of Utah?
Salt Lake, Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah. Oh, yes. And this is big. This is very big. It is my understanding that Stars Talent Studio is no slouch in this department. So how did you guys get in contact with them? Well, first of all, congratulations on being signed with them. But second of all, how did this come about?
Yeah, thank you. It was very accomplishing. And how when I when I first started acting, we were looking at agencies in the future, and the best one, but was still kind of closed, was Stars Agency, and we're kind of like, okay. So then in February, we've been getting serious, so we are like putting together all this stuff and monologues to apply for Stars Talent Studio. But then I think it was through Backstage, we got an audition from them to do just like a little skit. So we did that, and then the head manager of Stars Talent Studio, Amber Evans, she contacted us back and was like, why isn't he in our agency already? Why is he not here? I want this boy signed on a contract by Monday, get all this stuff, take these classes, it's kind of just hit us out of nowhere
Wow.
on some Friday evening.
You know it's a good sign when the first words out of their mouth are, "Why aren't you signed with us?" And they start hurling contracts at you and all that good
Yeah.
rigmarole. That
Yeah.
is excellent. Have they gotten any juicy stuff your way yet? Not that I'm not asking you to talk about specifics, but have they contacted you with anything yet, or it's still in the beginning stages?
We just got in, so we've only gotten like two auditions so far, but we still have a few things to go for because we still have to take acting classes some acting classes assigned for their studio. And
Mhm.
yeah, so we're slowly building up, and I think we're still trying to get in contact with one lady. But
Hmm. Um, in stipulation in Sammy's contract, in every dressing room that he has, only green M&Ms. If God help you, if we see any blue M&Ms, we will rip your face off and eat it. Hmm. Nah, you wouldn't really want it. You wouldn't really do that, would you?
I might.
Oh, all right. Well, for everybody out there, you God help you if there's any blue M&Ms. You don't want to see Sammy when he gets angry. I've seen it. It's not a pretty sight. Oh, goodness. Well, as I look at the old clock on the wall, as I look to my right at the non-existent clock on my wall, I mean, the clock on my wall, it's there. You got to believe me when I tell you. I see that we are starting to run out of time. Sammy, my last question to you, as I ask all of my guests. If somebody were to come up to you and say, "Hey, Sammy, I want to do exactly like you did. I want to break out into acting or doing voiceover work or doing skits like you do," what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them in order for them to best succeed to break into the industry?
Just don't give up right away. Just keep trying because you're gonna have like, let's say 20 auditions and you're only gonna get accepted for like two. So it's really about just not giving up if you didn't do this right, or you can't do this, or you can't make it here. You have to go do this, but it's really just about just not giving up and trying again.
That's right. As Chumbawamba said, you get knocked down, you got to get up again. You never keep me down. No, no, no. Well, that is all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. As our outro plays us out, I want to give a very special thank you to my guest, Sammy. Sammy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
No problem. We'll see all of you in the next episode. So long, everyone. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know.